Hello guys, it's Stephen here. Welcome back to another episode of The Transfer Target, talking about all the Manchester City transfer news and gossip flying around the internet at the moment. It's an exciting time of year. We all love a bit of transfers. I definitely love a bit of transfers. And you know who does also love a bit of transfer news? OneFootball. Yep, I'm sponsored by OneFootball yet again. The best app, bar none, on the market. Is supporting my channel once again. A big round of applause for OneFootball there. I'm clapping myself on a channel. But also to OneFootball because they're absolutely fantastic. If you want to help support this channel, go and check them out in the link in the description below. It's a world-class app with loads of incredible stories and all the breaking news that you need about Manchester City. And also they've got Fantini graphics, as you can see on screen right now. So go and help this channel and support OneFootball. I also want to say thank you to some Patreons who are long overdue a thank you. To Base Force, to Balner, to Alex Everett, to Ollie Potts, to D. Sidra, to Andrew Chandra, to Tom Aylwine, to Thomas Pedersen and Ben Smith. Thank you so much for your support. I've had my Patreon pause for a while now, but I'm getting going back on that train again. And hopefully you all enjoy the content coming up. And also these exclusive mugs here. Look at that. It's in bubble wrap, so ignore it. But these have been boxed to those people who are waiting for them. They're coming soon. I've got the boxes here finally, and they'll be coming and posted out very soon. So thank you to the Patreon members, and it's some exclusive content, including a video about Jaden Braff coming to those who are waiting for the exclusive content as well this month. Thank you to everyone involved on the Patreon, patreon.com/Esteemed Company if you want to get involved. But let's look at today's video. We're talking about someone I didn't expect to be talking about when I woke up this morning, Paulo Dybala. He's been linked to Manchester City again, and honestly, I would kind of like this. Genuinely would kind of like this. Now, this has come quite interestingly from a Turin-based newspaper, Tuttosport. Basically, they are a very big newspaper out in that region, so they know a lot about Juventus. Now, they've said that Juventus want to extend Dybala's contract, but not at any cost, and they could consider selling him to help reinvest into the squad. Now, basically, the Argentine forward could be sold by the champions to raise loads of money, because Juventus owner Andrea Agnelli wants a younger squad for new boss Andrea Pirlo, which doesn't make any sense, because he's only 26 himself. It's already a pretty young squad as well. If you look at the midfielders, they're going to have Arthur, Bentancur, they're going to have Kulusevski, they've also got Pellegrini, De Ligt, Demirel in defence. It's a pretty young team, really. It's not overly young, but they do have basically some good young players already. Now, this is strange because basically Dybala was voted as the best player in Serie A this season. He literally won Player of the Season over in Italy. But don't get me wrong, I would like this to happen. Do I think this is going to happen? No, I would advise caution on this. It seems to me like your typical contract negotiations where a club say we will not be held to ransom and we won't pay that, but we will pay if you want to stay, basically. I'm expecting that we have to be patient on this. I don't really think that City will end up buying Dybala, but one thing I do know is that Manchester City do want a striker. Now, largely, we all know that Manchester City probably will say goodbye to Sergio Aguero within the next year or two, possibly 12 months from now. Would not be surprised at all, which is obviously incredibly disconcerting and incredibly worrying. But Aguero, we have to accept that he's getting a little bit older, basically. Could Dybala be the man to replace him? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But he does have the quality. Now, he obviously is a very different kind of striker to the ones we've currently got. He's a little bit more of a link-up man, not in the way that Gabriel Jesus is. Gabriel Jesus is link-up and kind of still likes to run in behind the strikers, but Dybala likes to drop a little bit deeper. What he reminds me of stylistically, and this is possibly the highest praise I could give him, I'm not saying he's exactly that, but he reminds me a little bit in the way that he moves with the ball, with David Silva. He reminds me a little bit of that. He has that same technique, but he isn't quite as good as controlling the game as David Silva, because David Silva is a pure playmaker, but he has that ability, that kind of close control, a similar physique as well to David Silva, but he also has a bit of a Aguero about him in terms of the way he wriggles past people. Obviously, he's also Argentine, so there's obviously an influence on his game in general there, but there's no denying that he's an incredibly technical player. He would be very much a false nine for Manchester City. Personally, I would love him at Manchester City, but I also do understand that people want an actual number 9, someone who's a goal getter, you know. And looking at his stats, Dybala, I've got him on screen right now, taken from Wikipedia, which hopefully is reliable. I'm pretty certain it is. Obviously, at one point, Manchester City were linked to signing when he was at Palermo, but we went for Wilfred Boney instead. But that was back in 2014-15 when he was scored 13 goals in 35 games for Palermo. And then he got his big move to Juventus. And then, as you can see by his stats, He started off pretty well there, 19 goals in 34 games that season in the league, then 23 in 46 in all competitions. Then he followed that up with 19 goals in 48 in all competitions, and then he had his best season goal-scoring wise, which was back in 17-18, when obviously City were becoming Centurions, scoring 26 goals in 46 games. And if we're being honest, he had a pretty slow 18-19, only 5 league goals. This was obviously the year when Cristiano Ronaldo turned up at Juventus, and I think it's fair to say Dybala was put in the shadow a little bit. He lost his focal point, basically. And his game did suffer a little bit. Obviously, the talent was there, but he didn't quite find his star, basically, during that season. But this season, he has come back. Now, it's only 1 goal in every 3 games in the league, 11 in 33, but 17 in all competitions. But there's no doubt that he's been incredibly useful for Juventus. And as I said, he won Player of the Season in Serie A. He's a fantastic player. I am very cautious about this, though. Apparently, according to reports, he earns around 9 million per year, and a sale between 90 and 110 million pounds would allow Juventus to fund a new squad. He definitely would do. Do they want to sell, though, their best player? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised given the fact that their squad is all around, basically, Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano could be the best player, people would argue, but I think Dybala is probably more important to creating those chances that Cristiano feeds off. I would take him. I would definitely take him, but at the same time, he's different to what we need. I do also believe, in general, that City are in for a striker. I do think we'll see a surprise signing or so. Could it be Dybala? Maybe. Another one massively on the radar, of course, is Kalidou Koulibaly. This has been the debate raging around the Manchester City community at the moment. And according to the latest reports, Manchester City are serious about the signing of Koulibaly, with Napoli looking for a minimum of 70 million euros plus bonuses, with Koulibaly also dreaming of a life in the Premier League. Of course he would dream it. Most footballers do dream of playing in the Premier League at some point. Now, according to the latest rumours as well, and this is from Sport Witness, by the way, his agent, Fali Ramadani, has whispered, I don't know what the whispered bit is, it's like, bit strange, whispered to Aurelio De Laurentiis that Manchester City will pay 70 million euros, including bonuses for the player, which apparently isn't enough for ADL there. He wants a bit more than that. Of course he does. Having said that, though, according to Sport Witness, once again, in reality, given the earlier claims, if there's no other offers, it should be sufficient. There are lots of rumours about Manchester City being rival for this transfer signing by Manchester United, but honestly, I feel that's just paper talk. I have got a feeling that this kind of probably is true. I know he's been quoted about 80-90 million. I don't think we've got anywhere near that. I honestly think a middle ground will be reached around 65 million euros with like another 5 million in bonuses. So 70 million in total, which is about 62 million or something like that. So it's expensive, I can't deny that. But one thing I will say about Koulibaly, and it's very easy to get on the recency bias bandwagon with this, Koulibaly's had an awful long time at the top of the game. He's still an excellent passer. You know, he averages over 90%. He averages more tackles per game than the likes of Diego Carlos and Pau Torres and all that lot. So you've got to basically bear in mind that he still has that latent quality inside of him. He really is a player that I don't think we should get too down on. Obviously, a lot of people fancy Diego Carlos as well, and honestly, I'd take either or. I really don't mind. But I think it's pretty obvious that we do need a centre-back, and our two main options are either Kalidou Koulibaly on one side or Diego Carlos on another. Kalidou Koulibaly, in the positives, has obviously experience. He's 29 years old. He's played excellent football under Sarri and Ranieri before, and he's proved he can play in this kind of system. Diego Carlos is 2 years younger, but it's only 2 years younger. It's worth saying that he's only had his breakout season at the age of 27, which isn't that old, but admittedly, he's not like he's some 23-year-old, you know, who's going to get a burst onto the scene and have his whole career ahead of him. He has a long time left, don't get me wrong, but it's not like ridiculously younger comparative, so you've got to bear that in mind. Diego Carlos, though, does have that lightning pace, which I like, and he's a bastard physically. I really like the look of him, but he is still a risk as well. It's not fair to say that one is a risk and the other isn't. I think they both kind of got a little bit risky edge to him, if we're being honest, but that is transfers in general. I do genuinely believe, though, that either of these defenders will improve Manchester City's defence, hence why I want one of them. Koulibaly, I would take in a heartbeat. I do believe he could find his best form again at Manchester City under a coach of Guardiola's quality. Gattuso is very much like he's like the Roy Keane of Italian football. I'm sorry, but a great footballer, but an angry bastard, and not necessarily the person I can imagine getting the best out of people willing to improve. His form has dropped throughout the season, but so has the rest of Napoli's form. Napoli have tailed off. I mean, they're not the team of 2 years ago, and that is not just down to Koulibaly. It's down to the whole squad tailing off, and usually when the whole squad tails off, you have to ask yourself why. Is it because of the manager? And that would be, to me, a logical conclusion on this front. Guys, what do you think of those two rumours? Paulo Dybala to Manchester City? I'm not really sure it's going to happen, but I would definitely take it because it's a quality player. And who do you want out of Koulibaly and Diego Carlos? I think we're going to see one of those two definitely coming to Manchester City. It'll be interesting. I still think we're probably edging towards Koulibaly coming in personally. I think we'll find a middle ground with De Laurentiis, and I think he'll eventually agree that we'll just sell him for 65 million euros, something like that. Also, I want to say thank you to all these guys here. These are my patrons who kept this channel going. Thank you so much. I've not had the Patreon going for a couple of months now, but thank you to everyone who stuck around, basically, at patreon.com/Esteemed Kompany if you want to help the channel. And also, go follow me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Esteemed Kompany. I'm going to start streaming over on Twitch some video games for you, basically. A bit of Fall Guys, maybe a bit of Warzone every now and then, and who knows what else. Ghost of Tsushima, Far Cry, something like that. I don't know. Absolutely loads of ideas. Let me know down in the comments. Guys, hit that subscribe button. Go and download OneFootball on the link in the description below. I love you all loads. Go and check out all the other videos, including the one on screen now about Lyon with a French football expert. It's good, I promise you. In a bit.